Welcome back to The Rhode Show. This morning in The Buzz, how many times a day do you think you say, Google it? A lot.
Not only do I say it now, my kids say it a lot.
I know, just Google it. Well, researchers say that you probably do say it a lot. In fact, they think the internet is now taking the place of our own memory. A new study in the Journal of Science suggests that online search engines are making people more likely to rely on computers to remember things for them. Researchers found that when people were asked questions that they didn't know the answers to, they automatically thought to look up the information and were less likely to remember it if they knew they could look it up again later. I mean, do you find you rely less on just, your inner thoughts and memory for things?
For things that I don't know or don't remember, the first thing I do is go to the internet.
Do you remember growing up when we had all of our neighbors' telephone numbers? You knew them. Like, I could call all the neighbors. I don't even know, like, my mom's home number anymore.
Right.
I don't either.
Because you just spin through it on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to remember anything.
You don't, and it's kind of discouraging because it's like, for us, I don't think the impact is as real because we've had a couple of decades without the internet, but for our kids who have, started their lives with it, you know what I mean? You wonder how it's going to impact them later with their memories.
I think it's, honestly, I think it has brought out a new form of laziness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think it has. I know it has.
You can find term papers online that people have written.
I mean, it's hard to convince a kid that they need to know, like, multiplication facts now because, I mean, why would you need it when the computer does it for you in a half a second?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's ways around it and the ways that it'll be policed, but I was thinking about that the other day. College kids, who goes to the library anymore? They walk into their dorm room, they have wireless internet capabilities in their room, not to mention the internet capabilities on their phone.
I know.
And when is the last time you had to go and look up a paper on microfiche?
I remember that. I would cry. I would cry having to scan the microfiche
the old
and be like,
newspapers from 30 years ago.
I remember my brother getting an Encyclopedia Britannica set and like sitting in his room and like pulling them down. We'd look through it all, and I mean, they don't even make them anymore, do they?
Here's the other thing, though. I mean, an Encyclopedia Britannica basically gave you all the information like the internet does. But one thing I think that's so cool about the internet that I think is actually a positive is that I think it's piqued people's curiosity to dig deeper and deeper because it is so easy to find the information that you like, oh, I want to find out more about this. And then that leads to something else. And
I don't need a doctor. I'll just go on. Exactly.
Well,
I have
dangerous.
this today.
That is dangerous.
No, it totally is dangerous.
We had that conversation at my house one time. My wife and I had a pain somewhere, and then I looked like, lower back pain. Could mean heart attack. And then I went to the doctor. And,
get the nitro.
The doctor was so funny. He's like, Patrick, the first thing you should do when you're sick is not look on the internet and try and diagnose yourself because anything you want to find wrong with you, you'll find it. Because someone's had a stubbed toe that led to a catastrophic heart attack.
I'm going to name one other positive too. I think it's great that when you're stumped on something that you can find the answer. Because I can't tell you how many times I would sit there going, what the heck is that actor's name from that movie? And and you'd sit there and then 3 days later be like, oh, that's it. Now you can just boop, boop, boop.
I will say it has made some folks lazier, but I will say this. I will not lose any more at Trivial Pursuit.
No.
Because anytime
secretly under the table, you can be like,
oh, I know who the actress was
is
in the 1952 Disney movie, anyway, so we're all trying to figure out easier way to do things, Courtney, and you make your living over there with the computer.
I know, imagine that. I do like to use it to find out stuff I don't know. My friends often tell me I have the memory of an elephant because I'm always talking about memories from years past. So I do like to use my brain for that. But we have some pretty understandable comments about using the internet versus your brain here on the blog. And Jean says, well, since my memory is shot now, I always have to go to Google, but my memory's so bad I often forget why I went to Google in the first place, she said. Joey B said, I definitely use my brain more than the web, but the web is a great tool to keep the brain on track. So here's the poll we're asking all of you today. Do you use the internet more than your memory? A, yes, it's easier to just search online. B, only when I try to remember and can't. Or C, no, I use my brain more than the web. Got a few comments on our Facebook page today if you're just joining us. And Becky DiStefano says, I use Google every day, then filter through viable sites versus useless information. Emma Love says, every time I don't know something, I say to myself, let me Google that. And Brian Birch said, I guess I'm not the norm. I never say Google it. So there you have it. We will see what you all say on the end of the poll and if you're truthful in those answers. But we're going to